Welcome back to Let's Create with Alex Blake. I'm your host, Alex Blake, and today we are diving into something that I get asked about all the time. I get asked all the time, what is it really like to be full-time in photography? Or what does it take to be a full-time photographer? And today I feel like I want to kind of pull the curtain back a little bit and get to chat with you guys about what it really means to be a full-time photographer. Because I feel like there's just kind of this idea that once you quit your 9 to 5 or you finally kind of like take your business full-time, everything just like clicks, like you've made it and everything is awesome after that. Like a lot of the time I feel like when you're part-time, the goal is becoming full-time, right? But I feel like going full-time is where like the real lessons in our business actually start. So whether you're already full-time and you're kind of in that lane with me, or maybe you're about to take the leap or thinking about it or dreaming about it, or I don't know, or just listening. Either way, I want to share my 10 things that I wish I knew before I made that jump. Here is the first one. The first one is that freedom is real when you're full-time, but so is the weight and responsibility of it. I feel like this is something that we don't hear talked about enough, but when photography becomes our job, guys, it's like always in the back of our mind. And I know that like when we're part-time, this happens too. And it's a different weight because when we're part-time, it's our creative venture and we are working like all the time if you think about it as work, because we're editing at night while we're with our families, while we're with our friends. Like anytime there's a TV show on, we're editing because we can't get it done throughout the day, right? So I know that that's a thing when you're part-time, but when you become full-time, you expect that all of that weight goes into like the 9 to 5 time so that you have freedom back with your families. But that's not necessarily true, because when it's all on you to pay yourself, you really do think about it all the time. It is always in the back of your mind. Like on your days off, you're thinking about client emails. You're thinking about how you need to post on social. You're thinking about how you have this one gallery that you need to get done. And all of that just accumulates in your mind. And I think that's just the reality that we sit in as full-time entrepreneurs. Like that's not just a photographer thing. That's like anyone who owns a business and who really feels like they genuinely own their role in their job is going to feel that way. You don't get to mentally clock out at 5 p.m. anymore. But I think like the thing is like we should do that. Right? Like that's a healthy thing. That's a healthy boundary. So I definitely think like when you become full-time, that is true, that the freedom is real. So is the weight and responsibility. But the trick is learning to create like separation, maybe physically where you're away from your desk, you're away from your laptop, you're away from your phone, but also just mentally. So for me, I definitely always have one day a week where I am not working. And that was really, really hard at first, especially like I said, when it felt like, oh my gosh, it's all on me to make money. You know, it's all on me to make sure my clients are responded to. But if it's a weekend, chances are people actually expect you to not respond, or like they understand when you email them back on a Monday and say, hey, hope you had a great weekend, and then answer their email. Like people just get it more than I think we expect them to, or like give them credit to understand, if that makes sense. Yeah. And a couple other things are like, I have my notifications off for Instagram. Like I don't need to hear what people are saying in my DMs until I get on Instagram. That is work for me. It's kind of like keeping it in an email, right? I don't do any client communication or communication for the most part with my team over text. It's going to be an email. And the reason for that is because I'm creating that mental separation. So full-time freedom is amazing, but like I said, it comes with responsibility. So you definitely have to build rhythms that protect kind of yourself and your mind and your peace, because otherwise this thing that we chased after for so long, like our dream job, it's going to start feeling like any other job. And we want to protect ourselves from that from the first day. I wish that I would have done it from like day one, but I kind of had to make the mistakes and learn from them. So if you're not full-time yet, make sure you're taking notes on that one. Like set your boundaries from the day you start. Okay, the second one is a mindset one, and it's you are not your business. And while I definitely talk all the time about how our businesses are like an extension of us in a way, and they're definitely our babies, and they often reflect us, especially as creative entrepreneurs, we are not our business. Our business is not our identity. Our position is not our identity. When we go full time, our business can often start to kind of like become everything about us, and every win feels like proof that you're good enough or that your photos are good enough or whatever. But then what happens is if we put our identity in that, then on the quiet months, when maybe you're getting a lot of unfollowers on Instagram randomly, because that happens, you know, or if you are not getting any like inquiries and it's just crickets in your emails, or it's your first time going through slow season and you're experiencing just the quietness of that and the fear of that, then it feels like you're a failure. So that's the thing, is like, it could be awesome to put your identity in it until it's not. And then you're like on the floor, right? Because your identity shouldn't be tied to like your income, your bookings, your followers. It needs to be grounded in who you are outside of your position. Because when you find worth in just like Jesus, or you find worth in a thing that is fully stable, that's when things aren't going to fall apart. And I've talked about this before on the podcast, right? But the stronger that we are in our identity, I think the less our business, or really anything in our lives that we're kind of tempted to put in as an idol in our lives, or like put our identity in, those things can't shake us when they change, because we're anchored in something that's stable. So like I said, for me, that is Jesus. He is stable and consistent, and he never changes. And that's the thing that I want to put my identity in, is that I am a daughter of God. It's that I am a disciple of Christ. And even when I mess up, what's cool about putting my identity in Jesus is that his grace covers my mess ups. And there's no other place that feels like that in my life. So that's definitely one for me. Okay, number 3, don't put all your eggs or paychecks in one basket. And this one is kind of a weird one, but like, again, this is one that I would definitely take note of if you're thinking about going full time or trying to prep or plan for that. But when I went full time at first, I thought that like what it meant was maybe like success was making all my income from being a photographer, right? And that is true of my business in one sense, where it's like my business title is photographer, but creative businesses, I think, are healthier when you can actually diversify your income. So when you can have more than one income stream, your business can be healthier. Your business can sustain things like slow season. And for me, some of those things might be brand partnerships, or educational resources, or photo camp, or selling my presets, or offering prints for my clients, or I'm trying to think of like other things. Oh, mentorships. I offer mentorships and digital products, and like all of those things, or my merch, right? Like all of those things are diversified income. And some of them have like greater value than others. But I would say even with your niche, right? Yes, I think when you are selling to a specific niche online, that's helpful. But how in your niche how can you like take your niche and maybe double it down? Where like for me, I've talked about this a little bit on the podcast, but like I have mainly graduating seniors as my client. Okay. But what I also did was create a team of photographers where I'm selling in another place online for seniors at a different price point, and I have a team that shoots for me. And it's a completely, like, it's under my business, like I'm on the contract, right? But when they find when they find Senior Collective, it's not like me. They're not having me as the photographer. So it's cool because, again, it's sustainable, right? Like I'm able to sell during, if I have a random, like, I don't know, trip that I need to go on or something like that, I can still go on that trip and know that I have a team here that's making me money. That is me diversifying my income. And I know that what I said, a lot of that was like more educational. And that's because that's what my business does in a lot of ways, right? Like the whole brand partnerships or educational resources, photo camp, that might not be the lane that you want to go on. Maybe you want to do something like I just said, where you have an associate team, or maybe you want to begin offering prints. If you want to offer prints, DM me on Instagram because I'll give you like what I do for that. And it's super helpful. I use Past Gallery for it. And that has been really awesome. Another way to do that with clients is to deliver photos. Like, you know how sometimes we over deliver on photos, right? Say a package comes with, I don't know, 50 photos. We deliver like 100 just because there's good ones. What if instead of delivering those 100, you deliver the 100 for them to look at in the gallery, but you give them download access to 50, and then they need to purchase any other ones that they might want to buy, or they can just have the 50 and that's it. But I have done that a lot with like brand work. And when I do it with brands, it's great because I'll make even more money than the package they purchase because they see how great these photos are and they want them. So that's another way to diversify your income if you're not wanting to go the education route. Okay, I've harped enough on that one. Okay, the fourth thing is systems are your sanity. Guys, if I could go back and tell my 2017 or 2018 self one thing, it would be this: set up your systems early, okay? Even when you are part-time, set up systems. In fact, I almost think they're even more important when you're part-time because you're also trying to juggle other work. So things like within HoneyBook, having contracts and email templates and workflows, name your files specific things, have client guides that are easy to send out, invoices through HoneyBook, like all of those things make your life so much easier as things get busy. And I know like we're kind of heading into slow season, which is really nice. Now is the time, guys. Now is the time to work on that stuff so that when busy season hits, you are good to go. Because I didn't realize like how much mental energy I was wasting trying to remember everything, having everything on my phone. And then I started using HoneyBook in, I think it was like 2019, maybe early 2020. And it like changed the game for me. Like once I started using HoneyBook, I had automated emails, clear systems, and like finally I just felt like I had the time to kind of focus on the things that I actually loved, like the creative process and stuff like that. And again, I did that when I was actually part-time, but like treat your business like it's an actual business, because that's the thing. I think a lot of the time photographers will get mad because we feel maybe disrespected by clients and stuff like that. I've definitely found there's a higher level of respect from the clients that book me because I treat everything like a business. I'm not going to be besties with my clients. No, they're going to email me. They're going to be in my booking system. They go through my system and blah, 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 because it's not just like a creative venture for us. It's our businesses. And I think structure can give us freedom within that. Okay, number 5, you still need a schedule. This one took me a long time to figure out, guys. I'm going to be so real with you. But I remember when I realized that this was true for me. And it was my first year being full-time, and it was during busy season. And I had a shoot every night at the beach, which was like 30 minutes away for me at the time. And I worked all day. Like I just woke up in the morning and started working. And when I started working, I never stopped. I never had a break until it was like, I don't know, 10 p.m. when I got home from my shoot because it was so far away, right? And it was at the beach for sunset and all the things, or like downtown and then the beach. And like those are long sessions. And I wasn't taking time off in the morning because I had a shoot at night. I just was kind of like working and just like didn't really think about it. I had stuff to get done. I needed to edit. I needed to post. I needed to create stuff. But what I like to do is I have like a schedule, like a weekly schedule, and there's still a lot of freedom in it. Like I don't like to calendar out. I know a lot of people do like block calendaring and stuff like that. I try not to do that unless I'm like really overwhelmed with the amount that I have to get done. Sometimes I'll do that, but I structure like my day specifically. So like Mondays are admin days for me. Tuesdays are content days where I record content, whether that's a video or a podcast or something like that. I do that on Tuesdays. Wednesdays and Thursdays are the shoot evenings for me. So because they're the shoot evenings, I'm likely going to take it a little bit slower in the morning to give myself some breath. And then Fridays are like kind of a half day for me. Also, I forgot to say this, on admin days, that's when I edit usually. So Mondays are kind of like the editing days. And then Fridays, I try to take a half day. And then the rest of the day I spend with Zach because he also has Fridays off. So that just like works well for our schedule. And then Saturdays I take off and Sundays I take off. And that's my full-time schedule. And it gets everything done. Sometimes I feel more pressure than others in different seasons. That editing time on Monday might need to be stretched into Tuesday a little bit more. So I'm free and fluid with it. But having that structure of like when I shoot matters to me. It's also different too, I will say, because I've diversified my income and have a team that's shooting for me. They shoot throughout the day, throughout the week in general, except on Sundays and Mondays. So that's just kind of like helpful to hear too. It's not that like, I only have clients on Wednesdays and Thursdays. It's just that I also have my team. Okay, number 6. Something that I wish I would have known. Slow seasons are not setbacks. Guys, slow season happens every year. Every year. And that's okay because now I actually plan for slow season. I save up. I make sure that I have 3 months worth of being able to pay myself in my savings account. And I do that all the time. So I make sure that I've got 3 months because if it ever hits where it's like slow season and for whatever reason, I didn't have enough income coming in during that slow season time to pay myself, I already have it and I don't have to be worried. I never have to be afraid of it because that, like my savings account, it can dwindle during slow season if it means I'm paying myself, right? That's okay. And then the next busy season, I'm going to put it right back in my savings account. But it helps to know that like it's coming every year. It isn't just you. It's not just like you are a bad photographer. Like, no, slow season happens and it's okay. It doesn't need to terrify us. We just need to plan for it. Okay, number 7. Change does not mean that I'm inconsistent. I think when I started, I thought consistency meant like keeping everything the same forever, like offering the exact same thing all the time so that more and more people can find you. And I kind of said that earlier where it's like, I need to post graduating seniors in order to have graduating senior clients, right? But I think what I've learned is that growth often does mean change. And sometimes when you change, you push away your old clients. And I know that sounds weird, but like sometimes that's okay. Sometimes when you raise your prices, that's better for your business, but a client can't afford you anymore. And that's okay. Sometimes you shift your style to align more with who you find that you are or where your location is to be able to get more clients. And it might not match the past clients that you've had. That's okay. Like it's not inconsistency. It's just refinement like we talked about last week on the podcast. Okay. All that to say, don't feel bad for like evolving and growing. I think it's actually a sign that like you're doing it right. Okay. Number 8. Comparison will kill your creativity. Comparison will kill your creativity. And I've said this so many times, but C.S. Lewis says comparison is the thief of joy. I say that I feel like every couple of podcasts because it's so true. And honestly, part of it is like preaching to myself with it. Like, Alex, stop comparing yourself. Whether that's like your life, comparing your life to social media, somebody else's life, comparing your business to other people's business, comparing how often you shoot to how often somebody else shoots, comparing how much you charge to whatever somebody else charges, comparing your edits to whatever somebody else's edits are. Like I could go on. But guys, don't scroll and compare your business to other photographers who are 10 steps ahead or 10 steps behind or different cities, seasons, or resources, because every time it's the thief of joy. And it really does kill creativity because you think you need to create things that look like other people's, or you think that you need to have a life that has the same aesthetic as somebody else. And it helps you to just like put a mask on and learn how to like almost perform instead of create from the way that like God's designed you to create. So I know that was a lot, but one thing that did definitely help me was unfollowing people or muting people. And I know that sounds kind of harsh, but like when I was comparing myself to people, I just needed to not see their stuff and focus on my own lane and my own life and my own creativity, because you can't grow fruit where you keep like digging it up to plant new seeds of someone else's fruit. Like you can't grow your own fruit that way. Like all it is comparison, and it's killing your creativity. Okay, second to last one, number 9, you don't need to do it all. You just need to show up well where you are. And I say this because I used to think that I needed to be like pushing really hard on every platform to grow. Whether that was like Instagram or TikTok or Pinterest or YouTube, all of it. But you can't do that. Like you cannot do that really well if it's just yourself. Now, if you hire a social media person, if you hire a virtual assistant, like there are definitely ways that you can go around that, but you need to grow to be in that place first. So I would just say pick 1 or 2 platforms where your audience actually like engages with you and then do it well. So for me, that's Instagram. TikTok is my second one, but it's like way less than Instagram for me. And then I focus a little bit on YouTube, but not a ton, only when it sounds fun and only for my podcast. And even for my podcast, you guys may have noticed if you watch on YouTube, lately I haven't been doing the video for my podcast. Why is that? It's because I can't do it all. It's because I have too much going on right now, and it's easier for me to not have to edit the podcast video to post that on YouTube when I have an engaged audience on Instagram and an engaged audience more so on Spotify and Apple podcasts than I do like on the YouTube app or whatever platform. So for me, like this is the exact same thing that I'm saying to you. I'm choosing 1 or 2 platforms where my audience engages, and I'm going to do that well. And it helps us to show up with like consistency, yes, but also I think quality if we just choose 1 or 2 platforms instead of chasing every new thing. And I think that's how you build like a community, like a true community that trusts you and you actually have connection with, is to like focus on one area. Okay, this is the last thing. Here we go. Number 10, you will never feel 100% ready, so do it anyway. Every big move I feel like that I have made in my business has come with some fear. And I don't say that to like scare you or anything like that, but like when you are taking a risk as an entrepreneur, it is just that. It's a risk. And it might be like you going full time that freaks you out, but like it freaked me out. I moved to Charleston at the same time as going full time. That was really scary. Hiring associates, really scary. There's a lot of risk involved with that. Hosting photo camp, what were people going to think of me? Were they going to like the shoots? Like, are they going to be okay with it, like staying in a campground? There's so much like fear that's like not safe in that and not certain in that, but it's really creative. It's really fun. And it's also like, okay. It's okay if people don't like stuff that I'm doing. Like, it's fine. And you know what? If you go full time and you fail, who cares? I know this sounds like kind of harsh, but like, say you quit your job, you go full time, and it doesn't work out. You're not able to pay yourself. You can't get past that hump. Great. Go find another job. Like, I know it feels like kind of light when I'm saying that almost, but like, it's true. It's just okay. Say I can't pay myself for a couple months in a row. Thankfully, I have that savings account, right? But if that happens, Zach and I will talk about, okay, maybe I need to do a little side hustle here, or maybe I need to get a part-time job, or maybe I need to get a full-time job and make photography a side hustle. Like, it's okay to do that. You're not moving backwards. It's just life, you know? And I think sometimes we can kind of get in our heads of like, this is the end goal. Being full-time is the end goal. And it's just not. The end goal is to live a happy and healthy life. For me, a happy and healthy life that points people to Jesus, a happy and healthy life that has a thriving marriage, a happy and healthy life that puts my health first. And those sorts of things are what actually matter in life. So having that kind of as the forefront of your mind of like, you can do this. Like, you can take the risk even when you don't 100% feel ready. I do think it's wise to have a couple things set up, like listening to this podcast and hearing, okay, diversifying your income. What will that look like, right? Thinking and brainstorming about that. How much are you going to pay yourself? When are you going to pay yourself? And maybe saving up that 3 months before you ever start. Like, there are wise things that you can do, but you're never going to feel 100% ready. Take the leap anyway. I think confidence comes like as you move. it doesn't come before a lot of the time. Again, you can have wisdom in it, but confidence comes as you see the fruit of your labor, I think. And I wanted to share a verse that always kind of grounds me a little bit when I think about this topic, and I think about just like doing things even when it scares me and stuff like that. But it's Proverbs 16:9. It's, in their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. We can plan, we can work really hard, we can dream, but ultimately I want God to be the one that's directing my path. So if you are stepping into something new, you do not have to know the whole story. I am just asking you to take the next best step for you. And we can trust that he's working out the details along the way. So that is pretty much it, guys. I don't have much more to say. Those are 10 things that I wish I knew before going full time. Lessons I learned the hard way, the ones that completely shaped how my business and how I work today. How my business is and how I work today. I feel like if you're dreaming about taking that next leap, I really hope that this gives you like confidence and clarity and encourages you along the way. And maybe you're listening to this and you've already gone full time. Maybe this is just your reminder to like dig deep and keep growing and give yourself grace as we mess up, because we all mess up. So I hope that this encouraged you. I pray that you would share it with a friend. I pray that you have a good week, and rate and review and subscribe. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next Thursday. Bye.